I got my brother, Eric Muhammad. I know now I'm proud of this brother for the simple fact that he taught himself how to speak Arabic and do the prayers in Arabic, which is not easy to do. But we went to school together. Y'all know what Eric. And he got a lot of knowledge. One of the fastest brothers who hit the track. You know what I'm saying? On it, brother. How you doing today, man?
Oh man, praise be to Allah. Name Allah, blessed mercy. I bear witness there's no God but Allah who appeared to us in the person of Master Father Muhammad. I bear witness that I'm like Muhammad, giving exalted Christ, and I bear witness that the Honorable the Father is like divine reminder and the one in our midst. You know, just one point of correction. I didn't teach myself.
Okay, yes, sir.
I didn't teach myself. You know, but what inspired me was when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about when he received the original book from Master Father Muhammad, but he couldn't speak Arabic. So Master Father Muhammad said, okay, I will give you one once you learn Arabic written by my own hand. And that always inspired me. You know, the minister talked about the history of Islam, and that inspired me, you know, to understand, you know, the history of Islam. And the beauty about it is when I joined the mosque, the Honorable Brother Abdul Alim did a lecture called Old World Going Out and the New World Going In. So that's what really inspired me to help establish a new world.
Oh man, thank you for that. And we finna get ready on this anti-violence movement in the city of H-Town. Appreciate you. What's up, family? Look, we are live at the United States. It's going down. Murder One just walked in the building. It don't stop. Look, we finna find a solution to end all of the violence in H-Town. Y'all stay tuned. It's definitely going live. We got Brother Abdul Halim Muhammad hosting the event. We're going to give y'all some great coverage, so it don't stop, and we'll be back. Jew.
Have a conversation with the community about it. And our other goal was to seek funding for it. But like all things, this is the fourth community roundtable we've had. And I can just tell you in advance, we have submitted this plan to just about every policy maker that you can think of in this city that got the ability to do it, but they haven't done it. And so sometimes, you know, you have to recognize the fact of reality and stop beating your head up against the wall and then make a decision for yourself that, you know, if you're not going to fund it, then we're going to have to fund this thing ourselves. And even if we got to do it in pieces, we'll do it in pieces and go back to what we did originally, which was when we went around to the school, right? And even if we thank our brother O.G. Scott for the use of this Scott Center. Because when we look out here, we look at the spaces out there, that tells me that we could have a market. We could have an outdoor concert, just something right quick that we could do right here that we could do. That we could have a cookout. That we could have something here that would allow us to raise some funds to do a portion of the plan. So let me introduce our roundtable guests, not guests, but people who will help put together this plan. And to my right, who opened us up in prayer, is Evangelist Candy Moore. She is an evangelist, first and foremost, one who spreads the gospel of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But she is our sister in this struggle. And I, as a Muslim and as a Christian, we sit together on this panel because we recognize the fact that there is one God. And if we are pulled over by the police, they don't care whether she believes in Jesus or I believe in Muhammad or Allah. What they know is that the look at color of our skin, and there's a likelihood that we could be abused or misused and be disproportionately ill affected by the criminal justice system. And so we don't even flinch at the thought of us sitting together working on a plan, because for us the most sacred thing in the world is to care for our community. And on my far right over there is my sister, LaShavia West, aka Cliche. And Sister Cliche is, of course, a well-known hip-hop artist in this city, but she also is a mother. She also is a community advocate. She has overcome the difficulties and the vicissitudes between the changes in life that some people have succumbed to. And she has taken those challenges and taken the lemons that life has dealt her and turned them into lemonade. And she has evolved. Her music never really was such that it couldn't be listened to, but at a certain point in time, as God continued to touch her heart, she began to evolve and take it higher and higher and higher. To her right, and now sitting in the middle, is the world famous Reginald Gordon. Reginald Gordon is the founder and the operator of OG1 Operation Outreach. Reginald Gordon, while he was serving time in prison, being sentenced to 200 years in prison as a 16-year-old, while he was in prison, he went through a transformational change. And he is the one that founded Scare Straight. He founded it in the prison, and HBO stole it from him. And this brother has come out of prison, and he's done all that he can to promote prevention before detention, and now trauma-informed care, which is to deal with the pain that some of our young men and young women are experiencing that results in violent behavior, self-destruction, looking for, if you will, looking for relief. And now through Kush and fentanyl, which have now become killer drugs in our community. This thing goes beyond crack, man. This thing it's got to the point now, this is like almost instant death. This fentanyl is something, this Kush, man, leave you like lost in space. And then next to him, of course, is the wizard himself, the K. Reno. I won't give his real name because I don't know who's looking for him. Yeah. Eric Kaiser, graduate of Sterling, aka the wizard K. Reno, who has too evolved in his life and whose music reflects a consciousness that all of us can acquire. You know, we can keep it real, we can keep it street, but at the same time raise the level of consciousness in what we're saying. Because everybody's not robbing, everybody's not jacking, everybody's not pole dancing, every woman is not some loose woman. All our children aren't stupid and not going to school. You know, so all the things that we suffer from in the community, we can report it like CNN or like the Black News, but in another sense, there's success stories that have come out of our situation where we have overcome the difficulties in life, and we should highlight those too, so that there's a proper balance, and we can both see. So let me begin this roundtable by saying to the world and to the community, in fact, about the Scott Street Plan. The Scott Street Plan really is the result of all of us working together, the hip-hop artists, the church, the mosque, the local organizing committee, Brother Reginald OG1, and different various community groups. Going around to the schools, Brother Gary Monroe, who is now running for HISD, trustee position 9, was part of that. And we would go around to the high schools, and we would speak, in some cases, to those students that literally the assistant principals and principals had given up on. Some of they consider some of the troublemakers. But all of you who have known, who have gone to high school or gone to school, know there's really about 4 types of personalities or 5 types of leaders in the school. There's the athletes, right? And then there's those real smart ones. The ones that, you know, you think you white, man. Because they went to class, they did the work, they did all that. They didn't think they're white, they just love learning. And then there was like the Mr. and Mrs. Popularity. You know, that person that could run for student government, that was going to be the prom queen or the prom king. You know, there was that type. Then there was the gang leaders, the boy from the street. Everybody respected. And then there was the artists, those who could sing, could dance. So there's different kind of leaders that you know that you went to school with, and if you think about their life, and how their life line went in life, you see how they, in a sense, turned out. So we would go to the school and we would speak to those whom what seemed to be the troublemakers, or they would call them gang leaders or that kind of thing. We would address them. And we would try to tell them what the result ultimately of life would be if they allowed themselves to be categorized and put in those particular boxes, if you will. And then we spoke to the other ones who were a little bit more innocent. They were wannabes. And we would speak to large assemblies. And Sister Cliche and Brother K. Reno, they would hit them with some verses. But the main show, I don't want to say show, but the main one who really brought it home was Brother Reginald Gordon. I've heard him give over 100 presentations, but they never one of them have always been the same. There's always something that he brings out that will try to prevent us from ever going down that road that would lead to a 16-year-old being sentenced for 200 years. And the things that happened in his life, his brother following him in that street life and winding up as he tried to straighten him out when he came to visit him in prison. His brother would come up there with his gold and his grill and his money and, you know, and flashing and all that. And he was telling him, his own brother lost his life. His story, his life story about having a girlfriend in high school, and she was a good girl, and he turned her out, and she got pregnant, and he goes back and he visits his daughter that grew up without knowing his father and all of that. When he tells that story, it is so gripping. His mother, who would put up bond money, who would come and visit, would do all the things, and that thing to be separated from that loving mother that he had. Because there's always mom that's going to come bail you out. Very rarely you're going to call dad. You're going to mom's going to do it all for you. But Reginald would give that talk, and it would leave your mouth wide open. Because this generation can't be scared straight. They're the most fearless generation we've ever produced. You're not going to scare them, but you got to appeal to them and help them understand that there's consequences. And if they choose that path, then they have to live up to what they received. Or what they did. They reaped, they sowed. They sowed it, they reaped it. So, and then after that, they would ask me, they asked me, I would come up, Brother Gary Monroe would do his thing, and I would come up at the end, and I'm kind of like the closer, to let this generation of young people know that they're the greatest generation we ever produced. And it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about them. I don't care how many tattoos they got, how much gold they got in their mouth. I don't care how many earrings, how many piercings they got. I don't care about their clothing, whether their hair is fried, dyed, laid to the side. I don't care whether they leave it to achieve it, sow it to grow it. It don't matter to me. They're all the greatest generation of warriors that we've ever produced. But, like one of them old Steven Seagal movies, when them people be rushing that Steven Seagal and them, you know, above the law, he used that jujitsu and that Aikido, and he would use that, and he would use their own power against them. And what's happening is that our beloved, aggressive, warrior spirit that's in this generation is being turned inward on one another, and now we're killing each other, and the Ku Klux Klan and the police really don't do the job that we're doing with one another. So, let's go to the Scott Street point. Scott Street, according to the national and local media, contains two of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. Not just Houston, in America, according to them. Now, we walk around, we do what we do up in this spot, and it's like, this is home, I don't know what you're talking about, food. But to others, this is one of the most dangerous areas that they're in. So we decided that you can't rebuild Black Wall Street as long as there's bloodshed on the street. So we have to make our neighborhoods safe and decent places to live. And we've got to make it safe for our children and for our elders, and particularly as men for our women. Because that's the only way we'll be able to make investment or reinvest in our community, open up stores, provide goods and services for ourselves. So, When you looked at what was going on up and down the Scott Street corridor, you had the 103s and the early boys against everybody, it seemed. And then they'd be fighting with South Lawn. And they're over there, the YSBs, 103s, YSB, they don't seem to rhyme, but I'm not trying to rap. Well, then you had going down further down Scott, you had the murder bar. And on and on and on. And so after a while, they're shedding each other's blood. And what's happening is that they're now being set up for the slaughter.
Right.
So our job has to be to bring about peace. The elements of the Scott Street plan kind of break down like this, brothers and sisters. We got to set up safe spaces where people can come, and we can do conflict resolution. But in some cases, Tandy Dean and I would call ministry would be such that we could help people with their anger management, with their life issues, with financial literacy, with parenting, with the ability to communicate literacy, learning how to read and write and do the things that are necessary in order that we're not frustrated in front. Like I'm gangster and all that, but in truth you can't read. That's really why you act like you. You know, or a sister that's been abused. Either she has been abused as a child and she don't know how to handle that kind of business, so when she deals with a man, she can't deal with a man on a level, on a divine level, because every man in her life has been one from either her father, her brother, a cousin, or uncle, has abused her in such a way that she can't really be that flower that would open up. She now is closed to every man. And every male relationship she has, because of those things she has suffered, it's a business arrangement. It ain't even love. It's a transaction. What can you do for me? If you do that, then I give you a little bit of this for myself. But really, her heart and soul ain't in it. Because as long as you don't treat me like some other ones did, but after me or before you, then you and me gonna be cool. That ain't love. That's Donald Trump business. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
So we looked at zip codes 04, we looked at zip code 21, 33, and 15. And we decided to do those things of one, having a conversation with the community so that you can talk to the influencers and the so-called street organization leaders that you know who they are. It's like the mayor said, it's true. When something go down, people know what's going on. We just ain't telling. You know what I'm saying? It's not that, we got this snitches get stitches kind of thing, but we know what's going on. But the question is, can we open up lines of communication between the various neighborhoods and the leaders in the neighborhoods so that rumors don't turn into retaliation? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that is violence interruption special. That when somebody gets shot and everybody's at the hospital in the emergency room and the people are crying, the mama's crying, the sister's crying, the baby's mama's crying because JoJo's in that operating room. And all the homeboys now, they know he got shot, they got an idea who shot him. They're all in the daggone emergency room. And they talking. Yeah, we're going to do so and so and so and so. Who is a credible messenger from the neighborhood that can go there and calm the situation and say, hey, because sometimes these retaliations ain't against the person who really did it, it's just anybody will do it. And let me say this to you, spilled blood never dries. It never dries. Once we spill blood, then that family's member or their friends are going to want retaliation and justice just like that. And it's a never-ending cycle of us killing one another. We got to break that cycle. Then there has to be life recovery coaches. Life recovery coaches, those who, as I talked about, the things dealing with your anger management, the problems. You may have had abusive coaches, teachers, mother, father, sister, brother, situation just wasn't ideal in life. And sometimes, man, all I gotta do is push the right button and it'll set your behind off. And next thing I know, we in a fight. Why did he do that, man? Why did he go off like that? Because somebody did something to him and we have unaddressed trauma and pain in us. So we need life recovery coaches. The Scott Street Plan had a $900,000 budget. And what we wanted to do, it wasn't for me or the people up here to get paid. We was gonna skim all the money off. It was all to be put in the program, so that we could take people who wanted to be trained to be life recovery coaches, violence intervention specialists, and others, to take them, train them, and put them back in the community so that they could be the credible messengers necessary to do the work. The budget also included for us to be able to have an event like this, but have other events, art and culture events with the hip hop artists, so that they could do positive spoken word, rap, dance, all those kind of stuff, so that you know how we roll. We have these good deals and there's no fights, no shooting, no killing. Like what was it, the 30th anniversary of SBC? I was out there, man, you know, I very rarely go out, but I did a cameo appearance in myself there at that, but it was one of the nicest events I ever went to. I stayed there for a minute, I waved, I did my thing, and then I left, because I can't hang out, that was past my bedtime. And they're like Blackula, man, they get up late at night, I can't do that. But it was good to be there. I'm starting off this conversation not because I'm the author of this plan. I'm only starting to come because I synthesized all of what we did and put it in the plan in such a way, and then put my name on it as Dr. Muhammad, PhD, so that nobody can say, oh, that's just a fool down there. But what I've realized and come to realize is because of the source from which it comes, not just Dr. Muhammad, but Gary Monroe, the hip hop artists, the Tanya Deans, the street people. Because it came from us, we don't get no respect. So I'm not going to waste my time anymore begging these people to help us to do what we can do for ourselves. So this round table is going to take another turn as we talk about this, because this plan is a well laid out plan. And let me tell you something. It was adopted. Tamika, you come up here and sit next to me, sister. We got the north side here. When the north side travels to the south side, you have to get the north side around the north side. This is Tamika Motley. She No More Bloodshed. She's from the north side, from that area, you know, north of I-10. But she come this way because we came her way. And we always march together when it comes to No More Bloodshed. She loves her community. She's a happily married woman. And she is the one that puts on Facebook that GoFundMe is not life insurance.
Okay.
We're going to have to get this thing together, but says you need to at least get a burial policy. Because for you to die and put that burden on your loved ones to bury you, it's not really showing love to your family. I just want you to know, I don't want you to make you feel guilty of this and that. I'm not naming, shaming, and blaming. I'm just telling you that financial literacy is another part of the life recovery coach teaching. So I'm just starting it off. The plan is here. Let me tell you something. This plan was so good. And you know something? Instead of being insulted, I think, Brother Reginald, we need to be proud that they started the plan. And that the county commissioner took his money and resources together. We're mentioning here, we're one of the 20 groups that they interviewed. And he took it, used his resources, he put it together, but they didn't know what to do. There's still 6 months, they got about $7 million allocated for this plan, but they still haven't put it on it because they, look, let me put it like this.
I'm sorry, did you say they got $7 million for the plan, but they still haven't put it
But they $7 million for the plan, Sister Felicia, but they allocated it. They passed it in Commissioner's Court. Wasn't it $7 million, Beretta?
Yes, sir. Both of them, all of them, because they took the other for that other program, but $11 million package, the $7 million for violence intervention program.
So it's $11 million package, $4 million they put in another thing, but $7 million they put in what you would consider to be Scott Street Plan, but they're going to try to do it all across the county. So anyway, instead of being insulted, I just think we need to say, you know something? If somebody, Sister Tanya, if somebody imitates you, or you should be honored, okay? You know, but let us resolve ourselves in this room that we will never put shade on somebody else so that we can shine.
That's right.
Let everybody in here who's an individual miracle created by God, let each and every one of us shine in the way that we shine. But everybody got to understand who they are, whose they are, and then act accordingly. So, again, the Scott Street plan, if I did a PowerPoint and all that, you'd probably go to sleep, and I don't want you to do that. I just want to begin this roundtable, and then I'm going to pass the microphone, start over there, and then we'll come back here on what they know about the Scott Street plan, what we've done, what we experienced. But here's the bottom line, sister and brother. From this point forward, on our next set of roundtables, and we're going to different parts. We may come back here again, brothers, open this place up, and it's very wonderful that all of you are here. This just isn't just talk. We're already doing the work. The brothers are always in these apartment complexes. Action CDC, Sister Tanya, others, Cliche, and others, when her son's not doing football on Saturdays, we have a food distribution program we do every month. All of this, but this ain't just for Muslims or this, that, and the other. It's just that we have a focus, and we're gonna stay on our grind.
Yeah.
That's our grind.
Yeah.
And everybody respect one another. Reg does his thing. And anybody will tell you, I never try to convert any of them. I just let them be who they are, and I'm gonna be who I am, and we help one another. We make each other stronger by operating in what is called operational unity,
Yes.
which is unity without uniformity. It's the respecting the God in each and every one of us, male and female. Well, no matter what faith tradition we profess, or street or affiliation that we speak of, we love one another because we know each other's heart as it relates to our people, because we have done the work without compensation.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep on working the Scott Street corridor as a pilot project.
Yes.
Then we'll take that template, and then we'll go on the north side and we'll pick some locations where there's high crime, and we'll take what's successful here and we'll transport it over there. We'll go wherever we need to go to make peace. Now, the reason why the importance of many of the brothers and sisters here of South Park Coalition and others that are hip hop artists is because Minister Farrakhan told me long ago. He said, brother, we were in the suite at his hotel, and it was Jay Prince, Cornell X, and myself. And he said to Jay Prince, he said, one of your songs, brother, will reach more of my people than all of my speeches put together. I literally fell out of the chair. Because I'm thinking mind playing tricks on me. I'm thinking, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. I said, wait, boy, come on, brother. I'm trying to handle that in my mind. It took me years to really wrap my head around what he was saying. But the truth of the matter is, if you look on Instagram, if you look on social media, some of the rappers got more followers than TD Jakes.
Yeah.
This is why they go after these basketball players and hip hop artists if they say, okay, we ain't taking the vaccine, or I got questions about it. They go after them because they got influence.
Yep.
And you all have influence because your music transcends neighborhoods, though sometimes they beef back and forth using the music. But the truth of the matter is that you all are the ambassadors. So I have to recognize what my leader and teacher said about it. And Brother K. Reno can tell you the story. He'll share with you the story, what happened at Mile 45 in the late 90s. Some of the greatest hip-hop artists in this city you wouldn't know were sitting around a conference table. And I'm not Reverend Casachek. I'm not knocking anybody in the ministry. I ain't that kind of brother. Well, I say, y'all need to rap and make all this money and give it to me. He'll tell you what I told him. And some of the people who are being honored nationally and internationally, like Brother Trey right now. He's going to get a presidential award. He's an Ebony 100, whatnot. And he got the Billboard award and all that. He was at that table. And others who have left us. I'll let him tell the story. But here's the point, beloved brothers and sisters, that I'll close with. and then turn the microphone over, and then we're gonna go to you so you can give us your input. We're gonna take notes. We got to make peace in these streets. We have to have not a moment, but a movement. And we got to sustain the movement. Winter, spring, fall, summer, we got to sustain this movement because we cannot have economics as long as we got crime and we're killing one another. We can't have peace as long as people don't get justice. Meaning you killed my homeboy, you killed my brother, you killed my sister, you killed my son, you killed my daughter, and this DA and the police is taking forever, or they never solved the crime, so now there's this hole in my heart. So every Mother's Day, I'm looking and my baby's not walking through the door. Every Father's Day, my son ain't here. Every birthday, there's nobody to have these candles for. Now, everybody in here has been affected and knows somebody's been affected, particularly by aggravated assault and homicide. And you know the mothers who are mourning right now the loss of their children. We got to stop it. Nobody's going to save us but Jesus and God working in us. He said the kingdom of heaven is within and the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We have to work what's within us to bring about what it is that we desire. And you have to stay on your grind. You don't have to maybe do it the way some of us are dedicated to do 24/7, but do your part.
That's right.
Just do your part.
Yes, sir.
Because the world is run by those who show up.
Come on, doctor.
If you don't show up, then what happens is they pass laws, they do all kinds of things, and then all of a sudden you say, well, why are they tearing down my apartment? Why are they building this thing on the street? Why are they doing this, that, and the other? Because you didn't show up. It was in the paper. It was announced on the news. Somebody made the announcement at the community, what do you call them, the civic club meeting. You didn't pay attention. And then somebody napped you, and then you're going to get mad and go, oh, Muhammad, we need to do something. Yeah, okay. I'm not Captain Save a Negro. I can't parachute in here and save everybody. But we can work together to do what we do. So I want to, and I see you doing your thing over there, Cliche. I want to go male, female. I don't want it to be all the brothers talking. So I want you to take that microphone, check 1, 2, 1, 2. Give it to brother OG1, and then you talk, and then we're gonna go back and forth, and then we're gonna be here for a minute. So we're gonna take it out to you, so you can hear what it is. Let me say this to you: this just isn't all talk. We're already doing the work.
Yes, sir.
We just need you to be the wind beneath our wings. And make sure everybody knows that we are doing the work, and we need the resources to do it better.
Yes.
Go.
Peace. Thank you, doctor. Peace. Hey, how everybody doing? How y'all doing? It's good to see my brothers and sisters I ain't seen in so long. Damn twins, Nita, M1, Brother Charles, everybody. Sister Erica, Sister Tamika, Sister Tanya, OG1, Dr. K. Reno. I'm saying that because I'm looking at a lot of us in here, we all know each other, a lot of us do. And that's great because that says that we haven't quit and we haven't given up. ARC, Artists Respecting Community, our leg over here, we are getting back activated, so you brothers definitely just start tapping back in because it's kind of hard, keeping up with everybody. So if it's for you, definitely stay tap in with us and just show up. I love to use Dr. Quote. He said the world is ran by those who show up. I love that because everybody asks what they can do. Everybody wants to say, I'm through with talking. But the conversation has to be had in order for us to come together collectively to make the moves that need to be made, right? Can you hear? Okay. Right here? Okay. So the conversations have to be made in order for us to do what needs to be done. So I thank y'all for coming out personally. My son is at a game right now, but community is important to me. And I know we all are busy and we all have our families and we all have a lot of stuff to do. But as you can see, after all these years we've been putting in work, nothing is going to change unless we make the change. And we the ones that have to step up and do it. So thank you, Sister Tamika, for going to the council meeting that you went to the other day to speak about the gun violence with the officers that got shot, which a lot of people don't know, but she'll tell you one of those officers was her cousin, and he's still fighting for his life. But just to say, it's not just the community that's shooting each other. You got the community shooting the officers shooting community. So where does it stop? And as I was searching for your live to see their intercourse system, I had tapped into another thing I think that they had before then, and they were speaking about the community affairs, and it was talking about all this affordable housing and building up all this stuff, and it was actually speaking about a plan that they had implemented in Third Ward that was over 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and there has been nothing built on those grounds that they spent money for to do it. This is what I heard in my own ears listening to the council members there. So the lady's asking, okay, so what we're gonna do about that plan? You implement new stuff and the old stuff. See, these are just plans that's gonna be sitting on the table. And me sitting here and working with Dr. and everybody here, this Scott Street Initiative plan as well, like they said, they put on the table, and I just heard, just like y'all heard, $11 million is there, and none of this with people that already been doing the work that has been saving some of the souls that are saved, because it would have been a whole lot more if it wasn't for us. And I'm gonna say us and you and all of you that got music that you putting out and whatever you doing in the community. I met this pastor here that had his church too one time before, but he spoke to me about some things he wanted to do in the community. But it takes all of us, and that's what I'm saying. So everybody is doing their pieces, and like Dr. was saying, do your part. I'm so with that, because that's what I say. I had to learn on my journey, y'all. It's been a long journey. I've been tired. I've been frustrated. I've been overwhelmed in this journey with community. Period. It can get very overwhelming. Walking with the mothers constantly. When you constantly walking with mothers that have lost their children to gun violence, of shooting each other, or police shooting them, or whatnot. When you constantly taking on the burden of someone's emotions, of death constantly around you, even though you're helping and doing community work, it takes a toll on you. So Doctor, I pray for you in your restoration, because we have to be restored constantly while we are helping. And that's to all of you too, just to take that in heed, because as you help, we're going to be affected by what we helping to do. But we can't get weary, and we can't stop, because we know, why are we expecting our enemy to take care of us? Why are we expecting our enemy to come and help us? You think they're going to help us? Why are we expecting our enemy to teach our children to give us life or to give us something? They're not going to give us nothing. And young brother, if you hearing me, understand, don't wait on nobody to give you nothing to make change for you. You are the change. Little sister, you are the change. Things that you know that is not right, you be the change. You don't have to be like nobody, okay? You stand for what you hear up in this room and people around that you say, I know that that's not right. And you speak up on it, okay? You got a voice, and you use your voice, baby girls, okay? And I say that because we got to start teaching our own children to do that in the communities. It's never too late or too early to teach our babies. Yeah. Me being a mother, what I'm teaching my kids is life. And that's the most valuable thing that they can have as far as education and living in this world, to make it to the next day, to make it to the next age. Brother Eric taught me, he said, when you're teaching your kids, he said, teach them problem solving. And problem solving comes in so many different dynamics. It's not just English, not just math, it's not just that. Everything, you put a problem in front of a child and they're able to use their mind to solve it. That means our minds are working, and we can start making better decisions and better choices in what we're doing. So I definitely encourage those that have children, they can start teaching your own children, or put them in a facility that actually do love our children.
That's right.
And I have to say that. I have to say that because they're our future. They're the ones that we're leading this path for right now. So we got to set the tone for them. I have to teach my children, and we have to teach our children that the world ain't friendly. Because it ain't. Because then it'll be our children that's laid out there. Because nowadays, it ain't about, I'm not, you say, no, I ain't going to be long, but I'm being strong because I got to get on that field. But I'm being strong because this is where where God is leading me. He's leading me right now to the children. Because we do have to focus on that, and then you say, how can I focus on the children when half the time you can't focus on yourself? Yeah. But at the same time, we have to instill the values that we're learning ourselves right now into our children right now, so they can learn to grow and implement it in their daily lives. And I like to say that I know that we've had meetings before as ARC collectively, meetings out, press conferences with doctors, and different events that we have been doing. Don't get weary in the work, because we're not sitting, none of us, we're just like you. We can't do this alone. You can't do it alone. But collectively, we make the moves. So it takes for you, tell your partner, say, man, why don't you come on and just come on through, man, just come here with us about. I be telling all my partners, some of them still gangster, some of them still out here sell dope, all that. But I know where they heart at and I know where they mind at. So I be telling you like, sis, I promise I'm gonna pop the phone you one day, I'm gonna pop, but I'm instilling something, I'm dropping a seed right there, and it's on their mind. And those are the people, we the ones that gotta make that change. So with that being said, y'all, let's continue the mission. I will have to, dismiss myself a little early, to go catch my baby game. I dropped him off and came here because community is important to me. It is. My children and community is important to me. And it should be for us. So y'all, I know we're busy, but let's show up. The world is ran by those who show up, so I commend everybody that showed up today. Peace.
Give Big Shade another round of applause. We want to thank God, whatever name we call him by. We want to thank him for allowing all of us to be here. So if you got love for the Creator, y'all make some noise for the The thing I want to say, and I'm going to be brief as well, is that this meeting is not because somebody called y'all or reached out to y'all. So y'all are not here because of that. Y'all are here because y'all are concerned. Because a lot of people can contact you to come participate in something that's not of interest to you, you're not going to be there. If I say, hey man, we got a chitlin eating contest, ain't nobody going to show up to that. Y'all going to come to something that directly affects you. So when I want to ask y'all this question real quick to everybody in here, if you or anybody you know has been affected by violence out in this community, I just want you to just raise your hand. And I know that's everybody in here. Whether it was you, whether it was somebody you know that was assaulted, somebody that was murdered, we all got somebody like that. So what happens is, the way we operate now, we got lives that we got to live, and we have work to do and things that we have to do, but we can't ignore what we see every single day. And it happens in stages. Our emotions centered around a situation, it comes in stages. The first level of awareness is, okay, we see it. We watching the news or something. And then we watch the news and we see somebody got killed, and we like, oh man, he got killed right over there. Oh, that's over there by such and such. Oh man, that's around the corner from me. Yeah. We see it, and it puts that shock in us on that level. Then the next thing, we scroll down the timeline on some social media platform, and we see, man, such and such got killed. Oh man, I didn't know. Wow, I don't know. We see it like that. So now all these different situations, they starting to hit home. They starting to get closer to home, and then that turns into a concern. You start to get concerned. And for some people, the concern changes and turns into fear. Everybody's scared because you got children out here. You out here. You getting gas. You going to the store and all these different things. And sometimes you got to move at times of the day and night where it may not be as comfortable, but you got to do it. So then once the fear kind of passes along and you see it keep happening, then it turns into whatever. It turns into anger after that. We start getting mad because we tired of it. Because if you somebody that's just getting up, living your life, working, trying to be law-abiding, trying to do for your family, then it upsets you to see individuals that are out doing this kind of activity. But we also have to focus on the root cause of why our brothers and sisters are out here doing what they're doing. Right. See, it's a lack of guidance and it's a lack of resources, opportunities, and alternative lifestyles. See, our children ain't bad. Our children ain't crazy. They not stupid. They not wild. They not none of the things that they get categorized as. We're just in an environment that was systemically created to make us act exactly how we act. This is not an accident. So when we can understand it from that level, then we can start taking the steps to try to fix it, which is what this whole Scott Street initiative is. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Keep that term in mind, the Scott Street initiative, because that's what this is about right now. It's a plan.
Right.
It's a plan, because what we'll do a lot of times, we'll make the mistake of saying, man, this is some crazy out here, man. Ain't nobody doing nothing. What they gonna do? What y'all gonna do? What the city gonna do? What this person? Nobody's doing nothing. We say that. We have that mentality, but the truth is, like Dr. Abdul Halim was saying, the work has been in effect.
Yes.
It's just that it's not exposed, because we like, now, being cliche, we are rappers. We underground rappers, but even as an activist, you could be an underground activist. In other words, like you got the commercial artists out here that everybody knows, everybody see on TV, here on the radio, but then you got the underground who really putting in the work, but they don't get the exposure and recognition that the bigger names get. So in that regard, people will come up to me or come up to Cliche and say, man, when you putting out something new? I'm like, I just put something out. You didn't know, because the exposure is not there. It's the same thing in the community. People will say, well, man, what y'all gonna do about all this? It's already being done. So the point of opening the doors up to the community is to bring the exposure of this plan to us who are out here every day. So now, if nothing else, we got however many people in this room, we got people that can go home and say, if somebody actually fix their mouth and say, well, man, ain't nobody, oh, no, it is something being done.
Right.
There are people out here putting in this work. Because, and I'm so glad to see that we got some youth in here, we got some young people in here, because this is who this is for. This is who this is for. At the end of the day, everybody that's in here that's 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 12, 15, however old you are, or even if you got children that are that age that are not in here with us today, trust and believe. I used the word systemic earlier. Trust and believe is a systemic plan in place to fill up prisons with your babies. They are absolutely, they're not going to build no prison if they ain't got the intention to fill them up. And some people already have children that went through the system, children that are in the system. They already understand, look, when we build these facilities, we build them with the 100% thought that we got to get people in them, and they looking at your babies right now in kindergarten, already planning and figuring out how to do it. And the conditions that they create in our neighborhoods, what they call the hood, what they call the ghetto, are perfectly suited to fill the prisons up with our babies, male or female. Because we just focus more so on the little boys and all that, but they got female prisons too. So what we got to do is we got to focus on making sure that we are not shying away from this fight. We can't shy away from this fight. We can't get in the mode where we feel like, hey man, they crazy. We don't have time to do that. We got to work with the people who are putting in the work, who have the plan in place. This plan was like, you ever sent, you know how rappers send a demo tape into a record label trying to get signed, and then you look up and the record label stole your song and gave it to another artist, and you hit it and you got to go through it. That's what happened with this plan. We sent the plan in to the city. That was the record label. That was our demo. They heard it, they liked it, and said, we're going to use it and put it out ourselves.
That's right. That's what they do.
They jacked the song. They jacked our song. So, but the fact is, like Big Brother Abdul Halim said, it don't matter. Because here's the deal. Somebody can jack your song, they can take your beat, they can take your lyrics, but they might can't sing them the way you sing them. They can't spit it the way you spit it.
Right.
So,
They reject the plan, but they didn't do no.
exactly. So
Can't do it.
they can't do it the way we're gonna be able to do it. See, so at the end of the day, the resources have to be put in place for us. You know, we're not walking around, trust and believe. If I know not just people sitting at these tables, but I know with some of y'all out here that if y'all had it like that, y'all, man, here's $1 million check right now. Let's get it done. You know, just out the kindness of, we would all do that. But unfortunately, we're not in that situation. So we have to like Brother Abdul said, we got to
Correct the
slowly but
situation.
surely build up those funds, and those funds are gonna go towards resources and go towards creating an alternative for our brothers and sisters out in the streets, because we can look at what they do, but have you ever talked to one of them before? And when you talk to one of them, they not no different. They will turn right back into who they actually are. They just surviving out here. Or they trying to live up to something because of the homeboys that they ride with. But we gotta make them understand, man, that you don't give a one life. You don't give a one. You don't give a one opportunity. But so whatever you do, you make the most out of it. But I'm talking to the young people now. But be a leader. Don't be a follower. Don't be a crash dummy. Don't be one that looks at what everybody else is doing and say, I'm gonna do that too. Because the same way we watch the news, what I was just talking about, and we see some little boy, some little girl, they got jammed up, and now they mama getting a phone call out the blue saying that something happened to your baby and he or she not never coming back home. See, the same way we see that, it could be you. It could be anybody. So we can't take this time we got for granted as if, okay, well, it ain't gonna happen to me. It's not gonna happen. There's a lot of people that's in the graveyard that feel like it wasn't gonna happen to them. And there's a lot of people that's sitting up in prison right now that feel like it wasn't gonna happen to them. And there's a lot of our young people that do feel like it's gonna happen to them, like it's destined to happen to them just because of the environment is hopeless.
Yes.
So who gonna give them that hope? And if they fail, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it if our young people fail? It's our fault. So we got to get in and make something happen for our young people and for ourselves, because when we protect them, they'll protect us, and we'll be able to walk the streets. We'll be able to let our daughters and wives and grandmas and all that walk the streets safely without having to worry about something going on, because the streets will rise up and protect. They just need the knowledge and the guidance. So that's all I gotta say for now. I'm gonna pass the mic over.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
listen, I want to just elaborate on what you said about these kids are expecting to die and not to live past the age of 25. I want to just say some of our works that we already done in high school. I think we did this at Vernon High School. And when we was there, I had passed out to everybody in the auditorium. There's probably about 500 kids in there or so. And I asked them a question. I told them don't put their name on it. And I asked them a question at the end of our presentation, and everybody turned it back in. When I got home and I looked at all of everything that they had wrote, the question was, I think the question had something to do with them. Do they want to live or die? And a lot of those, I still have those, and I'm gonna pull them back out. That's gonna be a part of our next presentation when we start hitting these schools. But it was a lot that was in there, and it was so heart touching to hear people just saying, "I don't even care if I live. I don't expect to live past, 25 plus. My brother died at this age, and I feel like I'm gonna die the same way." Like people would, I don't even know who the kids were. It was all anonymous. Everybody just turned them back in. And just to know that's in the mindset of our children in these schools, just saying, I don't know, or I don't care, or I think what happened to my brother is going to happen to me, that says hope is lost.
Yeah.
So we have to make change to give our kids hope.
Yeah.
OG,
Thank you,
y'all.
thank you, thank you.
OG.
First I'm gonna say this here. It's a historical piece that I love. It's called The Trail of Tears. When the Native Americans was on a trip,
Right.
getting the hell out of there because their spirit broke.
Right.
In our community, we on a trail. As I've been doing this work for 40 years, coming out the institutions that we know, that they have articles talking about. It says PTSD, as common as prison guards, as war veterans. 200 veterans that come out of war a day kill themselves because they can't deal with the stress of war.
That's right.
And if the prison guards are killing themselves because they can't deal with the stress of dealing with our PTSD, our trauma. And every Saturday and Sunday morning, I'm starting this off by saying the reason why I'm a part of the Scott Street Corridor, because morning when I get up to do my walking in the park, as I walk through Townwood Park, it's thousands of these things on the ground called Swisher Sweets. We have become so medically weak on smoking what the man got at the bottom of the paper said it will kill you. We not eating. When the man tells us he's killing us with what we smoking.
Come on.
All us to do, most of us in the community to throw our hands up and surrender. We see what's happening to our women and our children. We see what they're doing to us in the school. As I look at this article here, suicide amongst black boys is at its highest. Why? Because we too busy when we see problems, we deal with the problem and not the person. That's what trauma tells us to do. He's a drug addict. We go straight to the drug problem instead of going to the problem of the person. We are a traumatized people that we have never dealt with what the hell is wrong with us. We drive through these neighborhoods, we see them on the corner talking to their damn self. What happened to Ray Maple? He talking to himself because we never deal with the pain that our community is going through. And we become cowards and making the statement to say, I'm willing to die for what I love. I don't want to deal with that. We so busy to run away from our problems. See, what we're trying to do with this Scott Street Carter is what the minister said, put 10,000 men on the street to take back the street. When black boys see black men walking the street and bars, black boys sit down. It's got a neighborhood that OG1 can't go in. There's some young brother in there that I don't deal with in the juvenile center or in that county jail. Right now, before I go further, right there in Harris County Jail, everybody know what I said downtown. It's 865 young men in the age between the ages of 17 to 25. 800 of them. And all 800 of them gonna come home one day. And all 800 of them in there being treated, dehumanized. You know how they treat you in jail. They talk to you less than human. They feed on your inner trauma that you never dealt with when your dad was talking crazy to you. When your community was messed up. Anybody know what the A treatment is? Tell me going all these white folks meetings and trainings. I'm a recovery coach now. And I go all over the country and they let me in the door because I'm a recovery coach now. I was a prevention officer when I come out of prison doing that Scared Straight program. Prevention before the teacher, speaking in the school, speaking in the jailhouse. I worked for a politician in this district for 10 years, so I was at the table here what they wickedness was talking about that look like you and I, but don't give a damn about you and I. Because I got an article I got from 1994 said, seeds, they call our children seeds of trouble. See, when the Houston Chronicle called our children seeds of trouble, they got something in their mind. Well, this is how we plan on the seeds of trouble. These Negroes is messed up. I can take you right down the street, right over the corner. Crack cocaine have never been dealt with. But right now I got a job where the money is involved in because white kids are killing themselves on opioids. Yeah. And they put plans, they put money involved with saving little white kids because Ray and Pookie down here don't want to deal with it. Seeds of trouble. And a lot of us in here, when problems happen, when problems come about, instead of standing up, they put this stuff. We smoke a blunt. And on the blunt, and on this thing here says, on this thing here, where's that? Here you go, right here. On this article here say, at risk of fertilization, fertility, stillborn, and low birth. So they know that they're attacking our lower system. They know what they do when they're weakening us. And they put it in big letters on the front of the
Yeah,
paper.
they ain't little no more. It's right in your face.
And we wonder why we look at these Negroes, they not have that. I ain't going to mess with them people. And I've been out here on the streets, walking up and down the street, challenging these people. That's why they don't want to deal with me, because they don't want me to reproduce myself. It ain't about me doing 20 years of prison. It's about me being out 25 years. Come on. Bumping, knocking on these Negro doors. Okay, I live here. I got the plan all right. Y'all don't mess the money up. Always talking about dollars. After the fact. You police come after the fact.
After.
But I'm not gonna deal with the police, I'm gonna deal with y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all here today because we need y'all to get involved. If you're scared, don't want to get on the street, well, invest some money into it. Go in your own pocket, start putting money. If you're scared,
Come on.
you don't have to do it. Pay me to go do it. I do it for you, but I'm gonna put some investment because I want to know that I want my grandchildren to have a safe place to live.
Yes.
The Scott Street Corridor is a plan that we have put together. Just like the minister said, they have went in there with their little smiling, wicked faces.
Yeah.
They stole the plan and put their name on it.
Yes.
And then they're gonna get some Negro that's gonna be top heavy and dealing with the best kids in our community. They ain't gonna deal with Ray Ray Pookie. They're gonna go grab Ray Ray and Pookie, put their names on the paper and say, we doing the work. The same work, the same thing they've been doing for years and years and years. I had in 2011, we had the same plan before the Scott Street, 2011. Youth prevention, youth violence prevention. One that we presented to them. Never took legs and grew. Because again, this whole meeting is about not what they can do, it's what we gonna have to do.
That's right.
We're gonna have to put things together where we can raise money to put soldiers back in the street.
Yes.
See, what we done, it's been too long with people that's in the system, they got these letters before their name, and letters after their name, they can't change a goddamn thing. We got to have people, we got to have brothers in this room with this is what they said it now, with lived experience.
Yeah. Come on now.
Not from University of Houston, or even Texas Southern that don't know how to deal with the people in the street.
Come on now.
See, one thing I've learned about dealing with young people that lives on the street, when you go to talk to them, the first thing they address you with, just keep it real, brother.
Straight up.
Our children are sick and tired of us bringing somebody else's information to them that don't even fit in our community.
That's true.
Before I sit down, this thing it's called the brain recovery. How do we reconnect the brain to deal with what black men see? The most popular word there in the community is called mental illness. Hell, do you see black men walking around talking about, look here, I'm depressed? See, black men can't go around knowing that I'm depressed, I feel that, I'm finna lay in the bed all day long. See, even black folks look at black men and say, you just lazy as hell. Get your ass up and go do something. You just don't want to work.
Good.
We have to re-energize our spirit, but we can't do it how? Because 80% of the young people that I deal with come in my office. I got to get past the marijuana smoke to deal with the problem in the pain. And I don't have to ask, but 80% of the young men that I deal with, I'm a conflict resolutionary teacher and I'm an anger management counselor. And when I got a group of young men in the circle, I don't know, I don't have to do but ask for one specific word if I want to get the whole room stormed up. That's on juvenile probation. Where the hell is your daddy? I see mama coming up here every weekend. Where's your damn daddy? Oh, here. I can hear a bombshell once I say that. They ready to fight me. But I've been skillful to know how to tone down when I hit a trauma that triggers. And what we want to teach you how to deal with in our community is not to tell our brothers and sisters when we see what they're going through. We want to ask them not what's wrong with you. We want to ask our brothers and sisters, brother, what happened to you? We want to ask open-ended questions, brother, what happened in your life? And see, Ace that I asked you earlier that did nobody raise their hand about it. Adverse childhood experiences. We got Negroes out there dealing with stuff that's 50 years old and dealing with stuff that got happened to them when they were 10 years old. So we got Negroes around here smoking like hell because he never dealt with that 10-year-old child in him. My dad didn't come pick me up.
That's right.
But we scared to sit down with other brothers because what we got a problem with in our community, the ego. Don't look. I ain't gonna give him up, and he gonna look at me as being weak or something. So we go around with this gangsterism, with this mask that, this mask help a whole lot our ways, huh?
All right.
Tell me what I'm wrong. This mask have helped a lot of stuff. And we've been trying to hide anyway. So, you can't recognize me. People, I was working for a politician in the 146 district. That's all of 146. There's 265 churches within a 6-mile radius.
That's the problem.
There's 265 churches within a 6-mile radius. When I was working for a politician trying to work with our young people in Worthing, Sterling, Yates, these same schools that the superintendent told us the other night that's on the death list with TEA in Austin. They got him now temporarily because they really, those schools, Yates, Sterling, Madison, all those schools is on the death list. They do drop-out factories. They got 15,000 young people they can't find right now.
I'll have to get one later, but
That they ain't went back to school. They not going back to school. People, if we don't engage and get back involved, start with what the minister always say, we got to rebuild our families. We got to be able to go into Scott Plaza Apartments. We got to be able to go into South Lawn. I sit down, I'm so wicked about it. I'm sitting up there at South Lawn Apartment is a nightmare. South Lawn, I sit across the table from some wicked two-tongued person that flew in here from California that owned them apartments. Doing the gang initiative program. Because they banned these brothers from coming within a 20-mile radius of that area over there. Other than that, you're going to lock them up and send them back to prison. You can't see your grandma no more, and she go over there. Can't see your mama. And when you get caught over there, we're sending you back to prison. We fought that. We got it knocked out. But even after that time of sitting down and the politicians talking about we're going to put security lights, we're going to put a gate up there for them, we're going to put a security guard here, we're going to invest some safety in the area of South Lawn. He shook my hand and took his wickedness back on across to California. It's been many murders. Even my nephew, after that, was shot 22 times in that apartment. It happened. Let's wait on the next one. We're killing each other, and the pain don't last a week. It's there. We have become so numb. And just like I said this before I sit down, after me describing to y'all what's going on in the black and brown community, we're so programmed to CNN, MSNBC, those are the people that tell us what the hell to do. I don't want to talk to that minister, he talking that Muslim stuff. OG1, he too black. And K. Reno don't know how to make money because he ain't calling out women B's and H's. So he ain't in the money. So you can't get us no gig at the rodeo. I can't come on. Our kids ain't gonna follow you. You're too positive, brother. So we feed to the enemy that keeps us killing each other. We make excuses on the reason why we don't want to get involved because they got that Muslim up there talking. And OG1, he just too damn rapid. He ain't gonna tell him what his ass line to say. I do this here because of one reason. I love black people.
Come on.
And as a dark-skinned black man, we catch them both heads. You know, the light-skinned boy, they ain't good. Light-skinned, dark-skinned. We gotta become in season sometimes. The dark-skinned brothers in season right now. But if we can, and like the minister said, this is the fourth roundtable discussion. And if you're willing to get involved every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we planning, we strategizing, we trying to bring people's minds together on what we need to do to save our women and our children. And if you ain't about saving the women and children, we need to get rid of your ass. You know, it used to be a time back in the day they used to call something called a jump out vote. And it used to be a time they called people that turned it back on the community low-hanging fruit. I don't know if you know what low-hanging fruit is. That means that somebody needs to be stanking from some trees. And I'm not calling on violence, but I'm saying once you break your loyalty to the black community and to the black family, to the women and the children, you need to go. There ain't no compromising. We're tired of negotiating. People taking backroom deals before the meeting before the damn meeting.
Talk the truth.
Oh yeah, he good people though. He ain't gonna do that. Yeah, he done it. Yeah. Smile in your face as he done it. I always keep, because I gotta always keep myself energized. Because me to walk around in the neighborhoods all the time, in the death lifestyle that a lot of us like, the death style that a lot of us like live, I have to find energetic people that love life and feed off of them. Other than that, I'll be crazy as hell. Like James Baldwin. Anybody ever heard of James Baldwin's statement? James Baldwin said to wake up conscious. To be black in America, wake up conscious to what's going on. It's to be waking up every day in rage. I was good when I was deaf, dumb, and blind. I can't deal with you, Negro. Peace, I love y'all. We're doing a program over here at 5519 Lundale. A young brother by the name of Diva Cantu. He's a young brother that was on TED Talk. He's working with youth advocates in the city. He's one of my great young men that we're doing. We're opening up right now. It's called the Youth Library, Diva's Library, Cantu Library. We're opening up a library because we understand that 80% of the brothers that's incarcerated have a reading disorder. They have what you call dyslexia. And we look, and a lot of times, it's hard for the brothers to tell you, look here, can you read this letter for me? And we look over it because we don't understand how important reading can become. It's survival. But we look at it like, oh, we have a problem with our young brothers reading at a 4th and 5th grade level. Kindergarten level. And we wonder what's going on. We have many issues we got to attack. And all we asking you, stay in your lane. If you're not dealing with this, if this your lane, you need to stay in, stay there. But be the best you can be in that lane. But we have to. And I asked the brother to come. If you walking out the door, I got to go to this meeting over here because I'm the supervisor over there. I'm running stuff now. But at the recovery coach unit that I run at the Recovery Coach Center that I run in Wellness Center over there, the people had confidence in me and the work that I do, and they wasn't afraid of me dealing with young people. And they put me in that leadership position, so I have people that work for me, and what we're doing, we got a big old beautiful building over there that is called a Wellness Center. We need to go get well, people. We need to do some self-care. We need to contact with our little one to come to that little one to bring it forth. So we can be the men and women we ought to be today without fear. I worked with this team of people for years. They've been knowing me for years. They know, all of them know OG1. I'm consistent in what I do. I show up to meetings probably when I don't want to, but I'm in. My wife in the back, my wife get mad. Go ahead, you just back. My wife in the back, she get mad at me all the time. You've been dealing with them. You've been dealing with people for years. Ain't nobody. We broke. But it ain't the money that do. You do this for money, you gonna be broke. If you're doing it, if you get involved with this kind of work here, if you get involved with something what the minister said, look here, we hard-headed, we stiff-necked, and we real rebellious. don't love the people. I'm gonna say that before I get off the floor. You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. And one thing about young people, they don't give a damn how much you know. Till they know how much you care. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, they don't care nothing about all that. If you can't deal with the pain they deal with every day, they don't even want to deal with you. Let's deal with the stomach issue first. I'm all ready. Then we can talk about reading. Let's not judge our people by looking at the person without going deeper in the root cause. What the hell is the problem? And that's what we want to build right here on the Scott Street corner. We want to build trauma-informed centers to where we can make our place safe places to where brothers and sisters can come in and we can talk about what we don't want to talk about. We got to get this kind of wickedness up out of us. That toxic poison is tearing us all up. That's why black men dying at a young age. Blood pressure problems, diabetes problems. They got all kind of diabetic places around here. They got all kind of fast food. They're setting us up for murder. But you can't blame the enemy because he getting fat in the pocket. He gives away. As he spread a few crumbs through our neighborhood. You know, a lot of us, we know what I'm saying? What they say? Buy a nigga for a penny a pocket. I didn't mean to say that. Buy a nigga for a penny a pocket. Are we still for sale? That's all I need to ask the question. Are we still for sale? I know that's a deep statement, but we got to ask ourselves that. Are we still for sale?
No.